So I don't really know you at all. We met briefly for about
right now?
3.5 minutes. Oh yeah, we're going.
Okay, cool.
We're going. We met briefly for about 3.5 minutes at Noble Creature in line for the bathroom. And we have already established that neither of us really remember how this conversation happened. But
I remember vividly searching for a pic to give you my business card.
Yeah.
With my band's name on it. And that's all I remember.
Yeah. So I am very much the type of person, if somebody hands me like a CD or a flyer or something, any sort of in-person engagement, I really like romanticize the tradition of that I will listen, I will engage. Because on top of romanticizing that tradition, I also just appreciate people that do something and really give a fuck about it enough to let other people know the hustle, the grind. And then I checked that out and I was like, oh, wow, this person that I met randomly drunk in line for a bathroom is in a really, really good rock band that I had never heard of. And now I'm very aware. So everybody, please make some noise for my new friend, Jackie of the Vindys. I will insert some applause for you. Don't worry. So, Jackie, thank you for making the trip here.
Yeah, absolutely.
From Ohio.
From Youngstown, Ohio.
From Youngstown, Ohio. So that is where you are. Is that where the band is operating out of?
Yes. So we have a 9-piece band, and everyone's about 5-10 minutes from each other. So it's really nice to get everyone to practice and rehearsals, So it's just that being from that home base of Youngstown, we really like it because it's in proximity to so many major cities. Whether you go to Chicago or New York or Nashville or Toronto, we frequent those areas much more so. And where we are, we're a half a day's trip away from any major city. So we like the proximity.
Totally. Yeah. One of the things that really just impressed me from the jump when I looked up your band was it seemed like everything is very well put together. You got some nice photos and a working website, and it seems like you're doing a lot of things and you're playing a lot of cool shows, good music, good sounding stuff, a lot of all of that back end stuff, but also you're writing good songs. So how do you as a band find the time to make all of that happen? Because I feel like it's very rare for everybody to have all of the pieces kind of working.
I have no clue. Wait, can you swear on this?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. I have no fucking clue. And it's I've been fortunate enough to have people in my band that it really has become like family. And also, we've delegated parts and pieces of, okay, someone's going to take care of merch. Someone's going to take care of emails. Someone's going to take care of social media. Someone's going to take care of buying whatever, having new ideas. Mm-hmm. Someone's doing writing. Someone's, doing stuff like this. So it's I'm so grateful to have a bunch of music teachers, just teachers in general in my band as well. They're all classically trained people, and they have a mindset of being organized. So I have great people around me because I can't do it all myself.
Sure. It's really, really hard to do everything yourself. And I think a lot of times where bands fuck up is that they don't understand how to delegate. They may have this grand idea of what they want, but it kind of gets put on the shoulders of maybe one or two people, and there's only so much time in a day. So everything kind of gets rushed and you end up having a lot of half-assed stuff. And I also think simultaneously a big part of being in a band or anything creative in terms of being successful is you have to actually give a fuck about doing it. And it's very obvious to me now. I can see clearly, I could see a band for 30 seconds and I'm they give a fuck or they don't give a fuck. And it's very obvious that your band gives a fuck. And that's great. Good job at giving a fuck in life. So you personally, outside of the Vindys, What is like your background in bands or working with people? Did you have like a past of like being in other bands that maybe weren't as organized?
Yeah. So let me see. I mean, I learned guitar when I was about 13. I got a set of stuff together that I liked, and I can't even remember what stuff was in that set. My dad is a food rep for like many of the restaurants and businesses in the Youngstown area. So my dad, asked, owners of bars and restaurants that he knew, like his buddies, and said, hey, my daughter has, a PA, and like, would you want her to come in for an hour and do like for the dinner crowd or whatever? So, yeah, it would be me and a buddy of mine that would play constantly. And that's how I bought my first car when I was 16. I was like making good money, like in my head.
Sure.
And when I wanted to go to school, I wanted it to be for not performance based, like vocal performance. I wanted it to be for writing. So I enrolled at Dana School of Music at YSU, and I hated it. So I dropped out that first semester, and I was like, okay, what do I do now? And I found this music production school, not Full Sail, in Florida. Music production, like it's called Mike Curb College of Music, which is, they have that at the Belmont in Nashville, but he loves NASCAR, Mike Curb, and he just wanted a school down there. So it was music production that I went to school for. Okay. When I came back to Youngstown after I graduated from that, I found this band downtown that was playing cover songs. I was like, that singer's got to go. That drummer and that guitarist, that bassist are freaking awesome. And I just asked if they ever needed a fill-in. I filled in once, and I think the other girl never came back. So I don't know if she like has a hate out for me to this day or not, but I just wanted to play, man. I hadn't played, I was in school, trying to do the thing. So we started playing covers and slowly slipped the, original here or there.
Okay. So is this like the band that became what is the Vindys then?
Yes. Okay. So this is the point. This was in 2012, 2013. In 2014, we had, at this point, it was 2014, and we were going. And when I say going, I'm saying we did the 3-4 hour shows 2 to 3 times a week for an entire summer. And at this point, we had been doing our original music. We created this EP that we produced ourselves called Red Wine Blue. No, Red Wine. Sorry, I'm thinking about all kinds of local bands recently. Red Wine in 2014, and it was picked up by The Summit in Akron, which is a AAA radio station. And from there, we just had legs. So everything that we've done thus far has been grassroots, honestly, as much as, we've tried to like find labels that might, be a fit, or managing, or this or that, licensing, publishing. It really has been more of a grassroots thing for us. And actually looking back at what we've done, I'm really proud of us thus far. So I'm just thrilled that we're able to have enough money to take people on the road and get hotel rooms and go and take flights out to West Coast this year, and do the thing. And yes, and my favorite thing to do is to talk about my band, because if you're not, you can't rely on other people. Sure. I just, you never know who's in the room. I didn't know you were a podcaster. I didn't know that you might like my band. So it's just, it's special that, now we're having this conversation. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
I remember, one time I used to be very hesitant about telling people that I make music and I do all this stuff. Same. And I had a record that I put out, and it was pressed on vinyl, and somebody had bought one. So I had it packed up and I had it in my hand, and I went into a coffee shop. And if you're somebody that buys records, you know what a record looks like when it's packed up. And it's always the same kind of packaging. And the dude that was making my coffee was like, "You got a record there?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "What is it? Like, what'd you get?" And I was like, "Oh, actually, I'm shipping out a record to somebody. Like, they bought my record." They're like, "You're like, they bought a record?" Like, it's like my record. They're like, "Oh, like you have a band?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Next time you're in here, bring one. I want one." So then, I brought them down a record.
This area, like Northeast Ohio, Pennsylvania, there is something about the Midwest that they just love to be entertained and love music, and they want to support you. I've seen it with, people like, Donnie Iris, who is a Pittsburgh legend.
Yeah.
They just they want to, support and back a LeBron James and a Michael Stanley in Cleveland. They look at the Foo Fighters like they're their own, the Black Keys even from this area, the Pretenders, and, it goes on. But it's really the best people in the country have come from the Midwest. And I'm just so happy to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Now, with your time spent doing music production in school and things like that, I imagine that probably changed the way that you thought about writing music and approaching the business as a whole. What was maybe one of the most valuable things you got out of that experience that you were able to use with the success that the Vindys has had to this point, or maybe just you as a human being in general?
Obviously, I think that the vocabulary that you use in the studio when someone's engineering, and the most important thing, and the thing sometimes I even lack to this day, is trying to get your point across about how you want something to sound.
Sure.
This sounds too bright. This sounds too, it sounds hollow. It sounds the tone here, I don't like that. What can we do? Can we pull the mic back? Can we add a room mic? Those kind of things, which, some people might not know those things. The vocabulary that you use in the studio or in a live setting really helps you and helps each other, figure out, get to a better level, especially in songwriting and in production. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's definitely the most important thing that I think I've gotten from it. And that's exactly what I wanted out of it. And I got that.
Yeah. Now with the band, and you mentioned that you're doing some West Coast shows this year, and you mentioned that you're playing around a whole bunch. It seems like from the start, you were very much let's play as much as we can and get different opportunities. Right. And that probably came from, I imagine, your background when you were younger and playing shows in the different restaurants and understanding that those opportunities are there. And obviously, you're in a rock band that could be pretty accessible, so you're able to kind of slide into some places where maybe other genres of music couldn't. But with that being said, do you think there's something that maybe a punk rock band or a heavy metal band could do to be more accessible, even if there aren't the opportunities for them to play in as many different places?
Actually, I've been thinking about that lately because, for example, in the Cleveland market, our Cleveland market is, for years we had been trying to play. I mean, we would play at the Beachland Ballroom. Do you know that venue? Uh-huh. Love that. Cindy Barber, the owner, she's just a doll. I love that venue so much, and it's so cool. But it has that punk rock element, and my band playing in the tavern just every single time and not growing a fan base. We also have limitations. I know that. So we can't just walk into a punk rock club.
Sure.
And get the same kind of attention that a rock band would. As soon as we started playing other places in Cleveland. Specifically right now, like we do a residency now, like sell out 2 to 3 nights at the Music Box, which is I think next to Nautica. Music Box has been amazing to us, and we keep growing there. And there's limitations for any band. If you're a singer-songwriter, if you're like a duo, if you're, a wedding band, so it's definitely, I don't know what it would take, because I've seen rock bands come out of that scene too and do the festival circuit
sure
really well, and really they go hard. And so it's definitely possible for them to get out of those bars. But I think that there's a little bit of like a give and take, it's just like trying to we played so much, that's the thing. We played every weird thing we played in a terminal at the Spirit Airlines, inaugural flight from Austin, Texas.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I've played in the back. I know. I've played in the back of an El Camino. The other day I played in a movie theater setting, lounge chair thing. I don't know. I just know that you can't keep playing the same things and expect to grow.
Sure.
In this, in a bigger way.
Mm-hmm.
So we take it. I'm bucket listing what I want to do next. I want to where we want to play, and now it's I have this these speaker systems. I'm they're chargeable now, the PA systems.
Yeah.
So you could go for 4 to 6 hours. I'm let's go busking. Let's just go. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
It's always fun to just do a different thing.
Mm-hmm. I think it really, with your punk rocks and your heavy metal types, a lot of those people, I guess in general with rock music, you get a lot of introverted type people that never really grow out of it. So I think that these music scenes that are kind of really insular and stuck between maybe a couple clubs in a city, this is what we play. I mean, I think it really goes into that, well, I'm afraid of making new fans, or I don't want to be rejected going other places. There's an interestingly extroverted quality that you need to get to a certain level. Yeah. But there's also that introverted nature that creates some of the best art. So the yin and yang between those things can be really hard to balance as an artist if you're trying to grow, if you want to. Some people don't want to, and that's fine.
I've been doing it for so long, and I've done the hours where I'm I'm not going to do that again. Okay, we'll try something else. It's not a big deal. I've played in front of 2 people before in a big venue. It happens, and you can't let that. If I let that stop me, I would have been done with music a long time ago.
Sure. I think that it's really important, in any opportunity that you have, to just have really good energy for the people that are still there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, but also we do it for fun. This whole thing that we're doing with the Vindys, yes, it's sort of a business now, but if I didn't like what we were doing anymore, if I didn't like the people in the band, and this is these guys behind me, they are my family. I don't just hire them. This is not one of those things. And I've seen that done before, and it gives a weird vibe on stage. You could see that. And I don't want that. I want people to have fun on stage, whether you're playing for no one or everyone. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. With, you as a human being outside of music has been such a part of your life for the majority of your life. I mean, you mentioned you started playing when you were 13, 14. So not only are you learning how to become a musician, but you're learning how to be a human being in the world all at the same time, right? Yeah. So now, all of this time later, who is Jackie outside of being a musician? Mm-hmm. Do you find you're able to do other things, or have interests in other things? Do you find that you need to get away from it sometimes, or are you just so focused that you're nah, fuck that, I'm in it?
No, I have to decompress. So I do the thing, for people, especially it depends on the setting, because when it's before a show or after a show or during like an intermission or whatever, at a theater thing or whatever, I make it a point to make sure that I go out to the merch table and say hi to people, because that's important to me, because I want people to feel like they're a part of what we're doing. But that can take its toll, because you're like, hi, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can I take a picture? That kind of thing. And so you do the happy face thing, and not that I that is what I want to do. However, talking to so many people sometimes can get to be a lot. So that's like working for me. When we're doing our thing, we're working, and then afterwards I'm drinking. and I will hide away from the band for the rest of the week. Like there's no like, okay, I'm good. Like if we do a run,
Yeah. Do you have any like hobbies or personal interests outside of songwriting and performing?
I love my herb garden. I love hiking. I love biking. Mill Creek Park is in Youngstown, and that's our main jam over there. And there's a nice like bike trail right behind my house. I love to cook. I'm a big foodie. So I will have food, like have good food. I will travel for. I will go all the way to Akron. I will go to that one restaurant in Pittsburgh that I just recently had a dinner at. It was a Thai restaurant.
Which one was it?
We opened up for Betty Smith at the Arts Fest Three Rivers, and there was a Thai place, Nikki's.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my gosh, it was so freaking good. I will come back for that.
I'll tell you this. Now, this is the Thai food scene in Pittsburgh is unparalleled. I don't know why we have so much good Thai food. Nikki's is low tier for some of the stuff that's here.
You got to tell me what I'm going today. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. So there's two places in Bloomfield. There's Thai Gourmet and Thai Cuisine, and they're constantly, there's people that'll go for either of them. They're like right next to each other.
Oh my God.
It's like 10 minutes from here.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do that. You're more than welcome to.
Okay. Come. Yeah. We're gonna get Thai food after.
We're gonna get Thai food. I'm so excited.
So now, in terms of Thai food, right? What is your engagement in terms of the spice level? If it's like a 1 to 10 situation, what number? What number is Jackie on the scale?
I like to taste my food. So
Fair.
If it's too hot and I can't taste the other elements of it, just ruins the entire experience. Yeah. At that point, you're just sweating and you're like, why did I do this to myself? And I'm gonna be hurting for the next 2 days. So I'm definitely like a medium. I would say, like to mild, medium to mild.
Yeah, I think I had an adolescent phase where I really wanted to be like, 9, 10, let's go. But now I'm very much like a 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Because again, I
would say 5 for me.
Yeah, that's
I'm a 5.
Totally fair.
Yeah. I think so.
Do we want to pass any sort of judgment on the 0s or 1s? Or should just everybody be able to enjoy Thai food the way they want to? Do you feel like you're missing something if you don't get a little bit of spice in your eating Thai food? Potentially. So you feel like you need something above like a 0 or a 1 or a 2.
They have 0s?
Oh, yeah.
That's just not right.
I used to live with...
You don't like Thai food if you're getting a 0.
Yeah, so that was the thing. Like an old roommate of mine was very like I need like a 1. And it was just like, all right, you're eating, this is noodles. This is just rice. Like, what are you doing?
No, you got to have heat. Sometimes the medium's not hot enough,
Yeah.
And then I get disappointed. I'm like,
that's why
I got a 6.
The 6 is a safe number. I think you should upgrade.
Okay. All right.
I think you should.
Okay.
Now, in terms of your food adventures, right? Mm-hmm. Did you find that you were an adventurous eater when you were younger? Or like through the years, was there something that like helped you realize that like, oh fuck, like there's things other than like maybe the American food I grew up with, but also I don't know what your food situation was like at home. Your family could have been like,
so my dad is a food rep.
That's right. You fucking already told me that.
Yes.
God
and then
damn it.
my mom is Mexican.
Okay.
So she came from Mexico, you know, and met my dad. And so she just kills it. Like has ruined Mexican food for me for literally everywhere else I go. Sure. Ruined it. So I know when I have something that's good. When I say I'm a foodie, I mean, I will eat anything. I'll try anything. I mean, maybe not the weird like squid things that, you know, Japanese stuff. Like some of that stuff scares me just for like my stomach, but I would probably eat it.
Yeah.
If someone told me this is like the best thing ever.
I think that there's a lot of like strange seafood-esque things that is where my line is drawn. Yeah. I'm a really big, I think, visual eater. If something doesn't look right, like I it's not going to taste right. And I mean, I have issues with that for like a weird squid thing, but I also have issues with that with like a buffet. Like if I go to a buffet, I'm like trying to make the nicest looking plate possible, which is like defeating the whole purpose. I just have like these weird control sort of things. But we're getting way off topic on that.
We really are.
But it's really cool that
we might be hungry.
No, it's really cool that like you grew up in a situation where you were able to experience a lot of different cultures of food from a young age and different things of food, right?
Yeah, so I have that experience, but my sister still eats chicken tenders and chicken parm everywhere she goes. So like it's the same experience that we had, but she's the bread and butter noodles girl.
I was going to ask like, because I wasn't aware that you had a sibling or anything, but I was thinking sisters. How funny it would be, you know, if you had the opposite experience where like, you know, I never had a chicken nugget until I was 14 or something like that. But I'm sure that wasn't the case.
No, yeah. I mean, we grew up, with 3 girls like running around a softball practice or dancing lessons or whatever. It was always like, here's Pop and here's Burger King. Like I'm sorry, like that's what you get because we're running places, you know? So there was definitely that. I think I just grew into, you know, liking different things. And I love it now that we get to travel more with this band where I can do my little Yelp research. I am the Yelp master.
Oh yeah?
And I will pinpoint. I kill it every single time. I'm like, I look at like the reviews. I'm like, this place is like too touristy that you can't go there, this and that. Like I will like spend. We're in the van. We're not doing anything. I'm Yelping.
Yeah. For
the best place to eat. So we've had great barbecue spots. We've had great Mexican spots. We've had, so I save them all in my my phone and we hit those spots on the road all the time. Same spot. We don't go anywhere else.
So do you find yourself to be then like a creature of habit? Like if you find something that you like, it's like, okay, I just want to go there.
I just think the tradition is nice.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Oh, remember that time at that place?
Yeah.
Like, let's go back there. Like that kind of thing. Yeah. It's always good to try new things too, but it just depends on your mood.
Yeah. I find myself being very much a creature of habit, but I guess we'll say traditionalist as well. You know, there's the things that I like and as much as I enjoy finding new things and exploring all that life has to offer, if I find something that I like, it just becomes like daily routine.
Oh yeah.
There used to be this cafe right by me down the street here called the Pear and the Pickle, and it was like my favorite place on planet Earth. They had the best breakfast sandwiches in the world. It crushed, but they ended up deciding to close like through all of the, I don't know exactly why they closed. I don't think the pandemic helped. Long story short, I recently finally found my new favorite breakfast sandwich at a place called Khyber that's in Polish Hill. That's like maybe like 10 minutes from here. Okay. It's way out of my way. Like I work in the north side on the complete opposite side of the river. I still go there every fucking morning. Like I go, really? Like I drive out of my way.
With gas prices.
Yes. To go there because everybody there's really nice. The food's really good. The coffee's great. And I find such a tremendous value in that. And I'm also a traditionalist. So that's the thing. It's like, I will go out of my way to support you and your business if you just got to be good. Like, just be nice. Even if the food wasn't as good as it is, I'd probably still be going. But it is like legitimately the best. And that's kind of like how I feel about bands. Like, I honestly don't even care if your band is blowing my mind. Just be cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, like, if you're nice people and you're in it for the right reasons and you keep playing, you'll probably get good eventually. Nobody starts good.
It's so annoying when you go into a restaurant and like the service is like they don't even acknowledge you or whatever. That's annoying.
Yeah.
It's annoying when bands are all like, stuffy too, and they have an air to them. So I totally understand that on every level, but that is why I'm telling you that Midwest bands are just like the best bands ever. Because they're chill and they're cool. Yeah. Like you can totally tell when someone is a New York player or an LA player when they're in town. Like some of them that are in LA are from the Midwest and very nice. But I just tried and true.
Mm-hmm. Like, no, I've always had like really, really great experiences playing shows anywhere in Ohio, anywhere in Michigan, anywhere in Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, whatever, like that whole, always really, really great experiences, really, really nice people. But with that being said, there is still kind of like that stuffy thing with some people, especially in like, I play in a metal band, and there's a lot of like that weird, like, nose in the air, I don't want to interact with you. But I've found that it's like not so much that they think that they're like cool. It goes back to that weird introvert thing, and people like don't want to make friends. But I am very much I will go out of my way to be nice to you and figure out, do you genuinely not like me, or is it that you just don't like yourself? And we have to teach you how to like love and appreciate the people around you, even if you are a big, tough, bearded, heavy metal boy.
It's not just metal. I get this.
Oh, totally.
Like,
totally.
I have had people come up to me and say, "Oh my God, I thought you were the biggest bitch. Like, you seemed like the biggest bitch at your shows and everything. And just talking to you now, I know that's not the case. And I love you." And people have said that like constantly. I've heard bad things, like your demeanor or whatever.
Yeah.
And it is like, I do have like an ego on stage.
You have to. You're in a fucking rock band.
I do. It's this thing that comes out of me. I don't know. I look like I'm a bitch on stage, a bad bitch at it.
It's good, yeah.
And it's releasing for me, for sure. But when I get off stage, I'm a goofball.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that it happens, and I understand that. And you're right. It takes just the one person to come up to somebody and just be like, "Hi. Yeah. Hi. My name's Jackie. What's
Hello."
yours?
Yeah.
Want to be friends?
I've gotten the intimidating thing so much, especially at shows. And I think it's because like if I'm watching other bands play, it doesn't matter if it's my friends' bands or like a touring band, I'm always like really intently looking. I always kind of take it as like, I'm here having a good time, but I'm also in class. I want to learn from what everybody is doing. So I may not be like headbanging, and I'm just kind of like, just like looking but I'm just like zoned in, like, like
you're watching to, what he's doing on the guitar. You're watching the performance. You're watching.
You're trying to like listen to these songs that you like maybe you've never heard before, trying to understand where this band is coming from. I'm trying to understand like, why does this band look great on stage, or why do they not look great? Part of that is like really separating the people that are on stage from the people that are in the crowd. Like, I think you need to look like we are a band and you are the audience. But that's like, I don't mean for that to be mean, but I think it's just like, do you know what I'm, push back?
Yes and no.
Push back.
Yes and
Please
no.
push back.
I mean, you got to be real too.
Totally.
Like, and some bands can pull that off. They're not mine. Everybody's real in my band. I mean, I sometimes will tell them, all right, I'm wearing this black and white checker thing tonight. Can we try to wear black and white tonight? And that actually worked out the one time that I asked them to do that. But like I've got demographics. I mean, I have a 50-year-old and I have a 21-year-old in my band. It's not like we look like a package deal. We don't. We're not like young kids doing the thing that have a showcase show that it ebbs and flows perfectly. We're not we don't do that.
Yeah, it can be too manufactured, and like that's not like necessarily what I'm going for. I just think that it's like ultimately
you have to have a thing.
Yeah, I want the band to have a thing. And like
yes.
there are like
totally agree with that.
It's like I've never been like with my metal band like, hey, don't wear that or wear this or anything like that. But
I have told them no shorts and flip-flops.
I was literally just gonna say, but luckily nobody in my band has ever showed up with flip-flops on. Evan, who I actually play in 2 bands with, I've never seen anybody that looks better in a pair of camo cargo shorts. It's just him.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
It's just undeniably him. I don't even think twice about it. I see him like, oh, it's fucking Evan.
Yeah. That's his brand.
It just works. It works for him. Because I think there's an overall air of just like, this is who I am.
Uh-huh.
And I think too with like...
Well, just like, what's his guitarist? Angus Young.
Oh, yeah.
He's in shorts. Like, that works for him.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
Yeah, so it can work for some people.
You can pull it off. I could see that.
Yeah, I think that maybe it goes into like a thing where sometimes, and maybe this is like a hired musician sort of thing that you had talked about earlier, where like you could tell it like doesn't work and maybe people don't want to be on stage.
Uh-huh.
It's like I think sometimes if you have a band and there's obviously like the one person that doesn't really want to be in the band, they don't look like they belong there, they don't look like they're having a good time. That's the kind of stuff like overall that can irk me when I'm like looking at a band.
I see that a lot with Nashville bands because they play in and out of each other's bands so much, so constantly. Like you'll have this bass player this night and a different bass player. Like every night of the week in a different city, you'll have different players. And like the hired gun thing, while they're very, very talented and very good players, it doesn't feel like, I don't know, it just feels weird. To me.
I romanticize the idea of the band being a group of friends, like a tight-knit thing that these people have worked on these songs together for a really long time. And, granted, people come and go from bands, but everybody that's there, I want them to be there. Like it is a unit, that's why I really have a hard time seeing ex classic rock singer touring with hired guns, playing all of his hits from the 80s type of thing. It's like, I mean, maybe like if you don't really care that much about the band and you just want to go see a performer.
Songs,
like I get it. But like for me, it's like really hard because it just doesn't feel as genuine. And that might not even be a fair thing for me to say. It's just how I feel.
It all depends because look at Queen going out with the American Idol singer. I can't remember.
I don't
Adam
know.
Lambert.
There you go.
Yeah. That worked. People went out for those shows.
Totally.
In droves.
Yeah.
So, and he's very talented and very good vocalist.
I guess it comes down to intention, right? Like what was
the intention?
What's the ultimate intention?
Yeah.
And I think that if you have weird intentions or selfish intentions or intentions that are maybe ego driven in a way that isn't good for rock, because I do think all good rock and roll needs a little sprinkle of ego, not like a level 10 spicy, like a 5 or a 6 going back to that. Right.
There is this band that I saw at West Side Bowl in Youngstown, which is my favorite place.
That's the best place. Nate's the best.
Love it. I just love it. So Nate has got me hooked on those Liquid Deaths.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He'll do that to you.
Sparkling water. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So good. He, so I love that place. Much like, I don't know if you like, Donnie Iris. Do you know Donnie Iris?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not personally, but I know who Donnie Iris is. Yes.
Yeah. So he, we played at Jurgles last night and I was telling him about West Side Bowl. So maybe I'll get Donnie out there too.
I love that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get Donnie to come check out my Jurgles, which is West Side Bowl.
Yeah.
I'll be there, 2 times a week sometimes during the summer to check out bands. Where was I going with this?
Well, we were talking about ego and rock and roll.
Oh, I wanted to ask, there is this band, I think they're from Pittsburgh. They're called Limousine Beach.
Yeah.
I saw them at West Side Bowl and I was like, whoa, amazing. They're really good. Do they have
Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. That's how our conversation started.
You're just remembering that now?
Yeah. No, because this is what happened. When we were in line for the bathroom, I think you asked if I lived in Youngstown. And I was like, no, I'm from Pittsburgh. And you were like, oh, do you know the band Limousine Beach? You know, I know some of them like just from like the music scene and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think you're like, oh, do you play in a band? I play in a band. We're playing at like that's how it all came together. It was Limousine Beach.
Wonderful. We figured it out.
Yeah.
It only took us 45 minutes.
But yes, yeah, they are from here. They're an awesome band.
Oh my gosh. Where do they play? Where does anybody play in Pittsburgh, to be honest?
So there is...
Anymore. Because Club Cafe wasn't doing it for us. Is that Carson Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the South Side, you have Club Cafe. They're doing shows at the Smiling Moose again. There's... and then the Rex Theater that closed and now reopened, it's Enclave.
Enclave.
Yeah. So there's those 3 spots down there. There's also like some smaller bars. Like on the other end, there's Excuses. That's just like a stage on the corner in the back, very like just like DIY bar vibe. But they do like punk and metal shows there. There's also...
Where would the Vindys fit around here?
Well, you have like a 25-piece band, so that's an issue.
Yeah.
No, I would say Mr. Smalls. We just played at Cativo last night. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. That's in Lawrenceville. There's also Spirit in Lawrenceville. They have 2 venues. They have like the Lodge, which is a downstairs, and they have the Hall upstairs. It's a much bigger room. I would say both of those spaces are pretty equal to Mr. Smalls and the Funhouse in terms of cap. They're very different vibes. The Spirit used to be a VFW and Smalls used to be a church. So
wow,
they look very different, but they're both really cool spots.
Yeah, I mean, but like, is there like a scene, or is it kind of just a lot of different things going on?
Totally. We don't have a West Side Bowl.
You don't have that.
The closest thing to that would be that. I mean, I could be wrong about this. I haven't given a lot of thought, but my closest thing would probably be Spirit Lodge, because I haven't. So I was just there for a show on Friday, and it was the first time I had been there in like 3 years because of life.
Yep.
But pre-pandemic, in the downstairs area, which is like the smaller club, they would do a lot of free shows there. Like bands would be playing, but there wouldn't be a cover. So if you just wanted to go get a drink and get like a slice of pizza or whatever, because they got a little pizzeria in there and shit, like you could go hang out, get some drinks and watch some bands play, or maybe they have a DJ night or something like that. And people that lived in that area would just go. So it was kind of like a cool little community thing. There's also Polish Hill, which is where my favorite breakfast spot is. There's a couple venues over there that are just like divey punk spots. But yeah,
I mean, I'm glad there's venues.
There's totally venues, but there's just isn't like a community space. There's also Black Forge.
There's a
lot in the Roxy, and there's a lot of places, but
you have some rock bands. There's some hip hop going on.
There's a lot of hip hop in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. What else is there?
Well, I would say
a lot of tribute stuff, probably.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of tribute bands. There's always been a great metal scene, great punk, hardcore. To some people, that's all the same, but here it's definitely segregated. Great hip hop, really good indie rock bands, really good garage rock bands, really good.
So you can't put your finger on one thing in Pittsburgh. You can't say this is the Pittsburgh sound.
No, I mean, our biggest exports from Pittsburgh are like what? The fucking, like the Clarks, Wiz Khalifa, Code Orange.
A lot of different stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty diverse, but also like
maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, no.
I've noticed that all over though. I've noticed like the way that people are growing up and listening to music anymore, it's become a global community. So you could have a, not necessarily a rock band coming out of Cleveland, but a rapper or this and that. So maybe that's a good thing. I always like I romanticize. That's our word of the day, I think.
I love it.
I romanticize the days when they said, "Oh, the Detroit sound, the Memphis sound."
Oh yeah, there's definitely no Pittsburgh sound.
There's no sound.
Well, I mean, I actually think going back to Wiz Khalifa, I thought he had like some sort of Pittsburgh sound gimmick.
Yeah.
I don't remember, like back when he was starting out, I thought there was like, I can't remember. I was admittedly, that's not a part of I wasn't really tied into anything that Wiz Khalifa was doing. But yeah, there just really isn't.
And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's just, more of a everyone's invited to this party, That's cool.
Yeah, I think that a lot of, and maybe like you can relate with this being from Youngstown, which is basically like, we're neighbors in a way, where it's like not like glamorous to say that you're a Pittsburgh band. A lot of times, like, if I'm out of town, people were like, "Where are you from?" Like, "Oh, like Pennsylvania." Like, "Philly?" "No, Pittsburgh." Like, "Oh." Like it's not like I don't know why. But yeah. But also
yeah, I mean, I like saying that I'm from Youngstown. I mean, my very name, the Vindys, comes from our newspaper, The Vindicator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, the reason I like it too is because there is this community in Youngstown that we are so supportive of any band that is coming up. And I have singer-songwriter nights down at, Birdfish in Columbiana that I like to try to make sure that we're all supporting each other.
Yeah, I've noticed, like, I've played in Youngstown. I've played at West Side Bowl. I've played at Cedars. I've played at wherever the fuck they do Papsalutely. What's the name of that place?
Royal Oaks.
Royal Oaks.
Best ribs ever.
I've played at fucking Noble Creature. We played the day that you were there. And I've played there with different bands. Like I play in a couple of different bands, and I've seen just like the same people at the different venues. They're just always at shows.
Yeah.
And I don't know these fucking people. I've never said 2 words to them. I just always see them. I see them so much that I recognize them.
It is like fucking Cheers in Youngstown. And we all, like, if we're not playing a show, we're at somebody's show. Oh, Demos is playing tonight. Oh, Radio Lark's playing tonight. Oh, okay. Hello, Lena. Okay. We're going to each other's shows. Like, that is the support, the network that we have. And so I'm proud that has built up, because for a long time, Youngstown there was no freaking venues at the time of like 2012, 2013. So we kind of forced it to happen by, breaking open that door to not doing tribute or cover band things anymore, doing your own original music and doing that for small gigs or whatever. And so now I'm seeing like the West Side Bowl is a newer venue now and supporting local music unbelievably. We have Cedars supporting local music down on the West Side. But the downtown, I think, still it needs a little bit of time, even with that beautiful brand new amphitheater down there that they're bringing people down. So they have a new DoubleTree Hotel down in Youngstown. The construction's going on. So I think we're 5 years, I want to say, from seeing a renaissance, because there was the Tomorrowland was the club that a lot of big national bands would come and play.
Okay.
And it would be like, I don't know, 300-400, 500 person room.
Yeah.
And there was the Park Inn, I think, but that all went away. And, we had to, out of nothing usually comes something. And that's what that is right now, I would say, in Youngstown. It's just like a really great support, group of musicians and bands.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's really similar in the sense that like our downtown, there's no like venue, that we don't have a music venue in like downtown proper. You know, there's obviously the stadiums are there, and next to the stadiums there's Stage AE, which would be another good venue for you to play.
We did. Women Who Rock. Do you remember they did an event for McGee Women's Research Institute? Sheila E. was being awarded some award for her contributions to the thing, and Orianthe was there, and Rita Wilson, who's Tom Hanks' wife, and I didn't know she was a singer. But we opened the night. It was great.
Cool.
And we were on the inside stage. But that's a beautiful stage. The layout's great. And then we'll be playing with them. It's Southside Works.
Yeah.
We'll be playing down there in August. So I really haven't figured out Pittsburgh, where our home is at all. So I'm open to any suggestions because I'd like to be coming here more often.
Yeah, there's a band that I'm good friends with. They're really, really awesome. I would call them rock, but they kind of go from like hard rock to like funk and kind of jazzy stuff and all kinds of different places. But they're called the Moat Rats. They just recently did a show at the like a headlining thing at the Thunderbird, which is another good place that you would play.
Someone's telling me to go there.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so that's another venue. But I think that you should try to link up with the Moat Rats. I think that would be awesome. They're another like bigger
I'm all about
ensemble band.
I'll trade shows all day long.
Yeah. Whenever I'm like going back through and editing this, I'll make a note and I'm gonna be like, I'll connect the dots.
Let's do it.
All of you.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love the Pittsburgh area. It's beautiful. The parking scares me, but cause I don't know if I'm gonna get towed over here where I parked right now.
You won't. You're fine.
I mean, it is kind of sleepy over here, though. There's it's just residential, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
That's the thing that I like the most about this particular neighborhood is that, you know, I'm 5-10 minutes from pretty much every little suburb in the city. I can get to all the venues super fucking close, but you're like also tucked away because there's nothing up here but just houses.
Right.
Pittsburgh is like very strange, but we're on the north side of the city. And then I've done
a bike like trail over here throughout the city.
Oh,
It was really fun. I couldn't tell you where it starts or ends, but it was just basically a big circle around the city. And that was really fun. The Three Rivers Arts Festival, I always come down to that. Like, that's my favorite thing to, but I was working that day. I was playing that day, so I wasn't able to walk around and do the thing.
You played the arts festival? Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. We opened up for Betty Smith, who's from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And poor girl, it's her and a backing band of guys, and they came in from Brooklyn to do this show, and they got rained out so bad after we had played to a lot of people, and then they were rained out, and I felt so bad. I didn't even think that was going to happen, but I'm just so glad that didn't happen for us, I guess.
Yeah.
Everyone was out of there by like, I don't know, 10 o'clock?
I guess so.
I feel bad.
Yeah, that sucks. So actually, so this is an interesting question, and maybe what we'll end our conversation on.
Cool, because I'm hungry and I'm like very interested in Thai now.
We just hit our hour mark, which is usually where I try to go, but I do have one more thing that I'm curious to ask you.
Okay.
And it's band related.
Okay.
And it has to do with finding opportunities, right? So you are a band. You're playing like a lot of like arts festivals and taking advantage of these opportunities that are a little bit like you got to do some work to kind of get into those situations, right? So like,
we're not getting paid.
So what is like the research and the time that goes into finding these opportunities? Because I think sometimes for bands, it's just like, well, if we can't get that bar gig, then I guess there's no shows to play. And it seems like you do more like cool stuff than like small gigs. So what is it like finding gigs for you? Like how much time and effort goes into
a lot,
that sort of stuff?
It takes a lot. If we had a booking agent that was going to do it for us, we've tried that before, and it's no one's better at selling your band like you are, and a booking agent could be potentially having 40 other bands that they're working with. For example, the West Coast tour, never played out there ever. So what we did was we went through and saw, asked people, is the best thing I could tell bands. Ask, this person might know someone that knows somebody that knows somebody that might know where you guys should play, which is why I'm asking you about Pittsburgh.
Got it.
Okay. So I asked a ton of friends of mine, what's the thing? And we just cold called them. Some people are not going to be into your band, and they'll be like, this isn't, our thing. Like, sorry. And you just try the next one. So we have a showcase show happening in LA at the end of July. But then we don't have a following at all in like the San Diego Oceanside, that's south of LA market. So you can also do things like, instead of cold calling a venue, you want to make sure there's people at your show. So we call bands and say, in that area, look up hashtag San Diego bands, and you'll find somebody that will fit your thing. And you say, and you look at their stats, look at, comparatively, is this going to be a good fit for us? And we called Shane Hall out he just opened up for Mike Campbell. And I don't know who his band is now, but he's doing really well out there. And he's going to have us opening up the night for him. So things like that happen. San Francisco, we'll be at the Brick and Mortar doing our own show there. So we called a local band to say, hey, do you want to open up for us?
Yeah.
And they're going to be opening up the night for us. It's a lot, I will tell you. And sometimes you get lucky. In Carson City, we're going to be out there too. That's like one of our last shows that we're going to do. There's a Levitt Theater Amphitheater thing. And some of those community events where it's like a pavilion or an amphitheater, they have a built-in crowd. This one in particular sees about 15 to 2,000 people weekly at this event. Doesn't matter who's playing or whatever. They have vendors and stuff. They will be there. So that's a built-in crowd that I don't have to pull people to. I don't have to sell those tickets. Even though, we're using a publicist to do a lot of that for us, do some newspapers and stuff like that and interviews. But sometimes you just got to bite it on the back end, on the front end, to be able to play those places and then prove your worth. Say, we want to come back, can we come back? Can you pay us a little bit more this time? That's the thing. It's exactly, I'm actually more excited because nobody has heard us out there. And I feel pressure when I'm in front of my own fan base to make the show better and better every single time.
Like a precedent has been set in a way. Yeah.
So I get nervous more so playing hometown shows. It's like the small club scene is so exciting to me. And to grind it out again, I'm just like, I'm so excited. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that was a lot of information, but that's helpful for bands to know to do that. So for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy, like, the amount of power that you have in this little thing. You can really,
but people just got to use it correctly.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool resources that you could take advantage of, and I think like being unafraid to get outside of that bubble, being unafraid to talk to strangers, and also being comfortable with the fact that some people are going to be like, nah, That doesn't always necessarily mean that your band isn't worth it. It's just, it's better. I'd rather you tell me no than tell me yes and put no effort into it. And then all of a sudden I'm wasting my time.
I always try to tell bands that contact me about playing a show and they have no followers, never been here before. They're from, BFE. I don't know this band. They don't have any listenership or whatever. But I'll listen to their stuff and I go, I know it. Like they'll cold call us and it doesn't make sense, like the fit. But I know, and I will suggest to these bands who they should contact that is more up their level, same kind of genre, or it might be a good fit.
Yeah.
And I really always appreciate when people do that instead of just saying, no, I'm not into it. Sorry, bye. Like this person is contacting you and making an effort. Like that is important. And like, you need to support that. I like to support that. So I make sure to, make, the connections for people to be able to play together. Cause you never know what it turns into. I've seen bands come and go, over the years, and I've seen bands grind it out and, get to really cool levels where they're freaking signed now, and that's all because of the way that, they rose up and connected with other bands and connected with people. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah. So it's always important.
Mm-hmm. So
be a good person.
Be a good person. Well, with all of that being said, Thai food. And please check out the Vindys. There will be any of the appropriate links in the episode description for this, but if you're listening to this on like Spotify or something like that, there are no links in the description because it's Spotify. You might have to do a little bit of work, but thankfully the Vindys are on Spotify. So you could just go up to the search bar and type in VINDYS and it'll take you 3 seconds. 6 button clicks. Do it. And enjoy some good rock.
Thanks.
Anything else you want to throw in there before we go? I
wish I had a Yinzer thing to say. But I don't. Downtown.
Yeah, we're gonna go down and eat some. I have no Yinzer accent. I can't even think of like the words.
I think that
it's
my trumpet player does it all the time. Like
some people are really good at it.
Really good.
Not me. Not me. All right.
So
well,
thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're super welcome. And that's it. Goodbye.